Good night. Welcome back. I can see from how long this live took to even load up that YouTube and the digital internet is against me. Anyway, tonight's topic, as you should be seeing on your screen, is about vibe coding and AI agents. When AI stops just answering and starts building, meaning, by now, most of you, I would hope, have at least tested out at least one, chatbot type AI like Chat GPT. And this is going to be a very beginner friendly session on how non technical people can start building their own tools or apps or platforms, because gone are the days where you needed to have a whole developer or anybody like that to do it for you. So I do have a demo plan for tonight, and I pre-recorded it because I hardly have any luck with the demos. But anyway, a few weeks ago we talked about AI agents, and people seemed to love that episode. I think it was episode 15, so you could check any of the previous episodes in the playlist, and the link is always in the description of these videos every week. Please, I can't deal with the wind crackling tonight. Outside is too hot. Anyway, so tonight we're taking that AI agents conversation a step further, where we will get into vibe coding. VIBE coding. CODING. Suppose I misspelled one, those that would be real shameful. Anyway, so AI is no longer just answering questions or chatting back and forth. You can now get it to do stuff, as we talked about with the AI agents. And vibe coding is right up that alley, where AI based platform is going to do something for you based on what you tell it or type to it and all of that. But I think I made good notes. I haven't gone back through them, so let's see. Okay, so AI agents are about getting tools to take action, as we touched on before, and vibe coding is about using AI to help you build the tools, dashboards, apps, workflows, and everything like that, that those actions can live within. So, what vibe coding is, in terms of a simple distinction, so you have the chatbots that answer questions back and forth. Some people have Chat GPT right now as their best friend. Other models I've mentioned, like Claude, Perplexity AI, even all of these, you can talk back and forth with. And I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole again, but just about all of them now have upgrades where you can get them to take actions in one form or another, in as opposed to simply just chatting back and forth. Okay, I am trying to keep track of the chat as usual, but I never see the live data, unfortunately. So, as usual, if anything happens, bear with me, or if you have pressing questions, just message me on any of my social media platforms. But you can put things in the chat, and I try to pop over and respond. But I never even see the live data, because right now I'm seeing like 4 people viewing, and it's never accurate. When I come off, other people message them like, okay, it was 20 something people, or 10 or 40 or whatever random number for the week. Anyway, so as I was saying, chatbots answer questions. You can talk back and forth to them. And at this point, you can type to them. You can send audio messages, like, how you send a voice note on WhatsApp and hold on that button. Same concept. There's a microphone app on just about all of them I can think of right now, where you just hit that button and you can talk to it. So AI agents take action. So instead of just chatting back and forth, let's use the example of ChatGPT, where you can go and say, hey, I need a business idea, or I need some help building out my business strategy, or I want to learn how to bake a cake. Anything you want to chat about with it, you can do that back and forth. But the AI agents now, well, they can't bake a cake for you in 2026. What you could do is tell it, okay, I want you to book a flight for me. I want you to pay my bills. I want you to go through my emails and clean them up. I want you to prioritize um, my emails and sort them from uh, the ones I have to take action, so the ones that contain action items, or just delete any of the useless ones that are just spam or junk mail, or giveaways and things like that. You can get AI agents to take actions for you. Similarly, you can consider vibe coding, like I said, right up that same alley, where vibe coding, like an agent, takes action by helping you build those simple to even complex tools, apps, dashboards, prototypes, calculators, trackers, and workflows using natural language, meaning the same way how you talk to ChatGPT or any of the other models back and forth, you can now talk to these vibe coding apps and tell them what it is you want. Before, you would have to magically have or save or source thousands of dollars, tens of thousands to go find a developer, get them to do a prototype for you and describe what you want to that developer. You would have to maybe even do a sketch sometimes and tell them, hey, I want an app that tracks my calories and intake, all of my meals and all that information every day. They would then tell you, okay, $60,000. And you would be like, oh, okay, maybe not. But imagine modern day, you can literally have that same prototype that you would have had to even pay tens of thousands of dollars for. You can have that for free, absolutely free. Now, to deploy the actual app or tool or platform that you build with these vibe coding platforms, I hate to use the same word, but that you build with these, that is where the cost might come in. So some platforms might charge you like 25 US a month if you want to deploy it, as in make it active for you and other people to use. Let's consider other people to use live on the internet or something, or make money from it. But even if you wanted to just use it for yourself behind the scenes, some of them do allow that with usage caps or different things. I am straying from my notes, so I'm going to go back to them because I know some of these things I had it later down to get to. But anyway, when I say natural language that you can talk to these by coding apps with, it means the same way how you talk to a friend or consultant, your parents, family members. You can talk to these vibe coding platforms and they build what you're asking for you. So that can be typing or, like I said, an audio message. Most of them have the same microphone that you just hit the button and talk to it. Okay, don't see any questions. Good. So you can tell it, like I said, what you want. Now, in terms of just summarizing, so remember the AI agents take action and the vibe coding right up that alley. Vibe coding tools and platforms, they can build things for you. Online, of course, nothing happens offline yet, unfortunately or fortunately. Yeah, we've all seen the AI takeover movies in the past, right? Anyway, so why this matters is not about everyone becoming a developer overnight or anything like that. I keep trying to block the mic. So as usual, if too much wind starts to come through, just let me know. We had some weeks with the crackling. Anyway, so it is more about being able to test ideas faster, cheaper, for free, anything like that. So some examples, if you are a tutor, you could build a revision tracker that could be for you and or your students to use. If you are a freelancer, you could build a quote calculator. If you're a business owner, you could build a simple admin type tracker. If you're a consultant, you could create a diagnostic tool for clients that come to you with certain challenges. You could be someone mocking up a website or dashboard before building it properly. And I sometimes do that. So if somebody wants an app or a website done, sometimes I might have the creative vision in my head, but I might want to get it out on paper. And better yet, no, these tools can allow me to get it out visually. So I might talk to one of these tools and tell them, hey, I have this client. They're using, I don't know, blue and green as their color palette. And I want the best way for this website and the accent colors why can't I talk, versus the primary colors to really complement each other. And I want it to have this kind of vibe, a tropical vibe or something. And it will create a mock-up based on my prompt. Now, from there, you can actually tweak the same output it gives you, and you can tell it, hey, I don't like that shade of blue. Can you make it lighter? Can you make it darker? I changed my mind. I don't want to use orange anymore. I never even said orange. I don't want to use green anymore. Can I use orange instead? It will just execute on whatever, based on whatever you're telling it. I would still say to try to prompt smartly and think through your prompt before going back and forth, because most of the free platforms give a certain cap on the amount of credits that you have. So you don't want to be burning through credits just playing around, willy nilly. Just give it a little thought before you put in a prompt. But anyway, so the opportunity is not just about making apps or, just pointless things. The opportunity is solving specific problems faster. And I've been saying it for a while now. If you are looking to make money, simpler ways in business, the easiest or simplest thing you can do is solve a painful problem for somebody. And I more so take that route because I don't like anything that is scammy or pushy or, yeah, I don't like hard sells, to be honest, hard sales. So it's like, I much rather do that. If somebody has a problem or need, solve it. These tools, just like the AI agents and the chat bots and platforms, they help you solve these problems faster. So again, using the website example that I talked about, maybe it may have taken me, I don't know, a couple days to get some inspiration before, whereas now from me describing what I'm thinking in here, it might be one of these tools might be able to better visually put it out for me, and then I can go and recreate it on a proper backend and user interface and system and all of that. Okay, so I'll do the pre-recorded demo now. Um, so for this, you can think of it like, somebody could say, I want an app that tracks invoices, receipts, customer records, and I hope this demo doesn't get cut, our luck. Anyway, folders, login, security, that kind of stuff. And that could sound simple, but it's actually where you have to be careful, because once you include any kind of customer information and, private information, anything that you would consider private. I don't even want to say certain words right now because YouTube is forever getting more sensitive and cutting lives and whatever else. But anything sensitive, you don't want to just play around with willy-nilly. You want to make sure you're building something, if you're building something that needs proper security, that you're thinking that through and that you have the back end set up correctly. And that is where still developers can still come in and often have to come in. So these tools, just so we're clear, I would suggest you start off with things that don't require any sensitive information, and play around with freely. If you're going down that road where you are going to be using your own or other people's stuff, then yes, I would still advise you chat with a professional, somebody that knows what they're doing on the back end of things, because these things can have a pretty user interface. Yes, they look great, but there've even been some there's even been some recent articles where there's an actual platform published that lists a lot of poorly vibe coded tools and apps that have ended up in a lot of litigation here and there, because they've been like terrible with people's user information. People have been able to log into other people's accounts, and just by typing simple things in the browser or clicking certain buttons, they have like all access to the back end or other people's information, as I said. And that is not what you want if you're looking to deploy one of these vibe coded apps to make money or something. You don't want to be like one of those people on the wall of shame, just vibe coding, taking people's money, and off to the races. You still need to make sure you have certain things in place. But I'm going to do the demo now. I did a simple admin tracker, and I pre-recorded it because the live demos like to embarrass people, and tonight I'm trying to choose peace. So I just put some I did a prompt in, what's it called, chat GPT. And again, that was me talking to chat GPT, telling it, hey, I want to do a demo tonight for this session on this topic. I just want a very basic prompt for a tool I can put in Lovable.dev. That's the vibe coding app we're going to be using. Let me switch screens. I used the wrong thing. Right, that's the tool we're going to be using. So I told ChatGPT that and told it the kind of app I wanted to create. And sure enough, it gave me a prompt. So we're going to run that now, and I'm hoping you can see. So as you see should be seeing on the screen, the tool I said I was using is Lovable.dev. So I had that up there. And here I was just showing where when you put the prompt in there, as I did, and I have some things blocked out, of course, but when you put the prompt in there, you can choose whether to build or whether you want to plan and talk back and forth with it more. I hovered over the microphone so you could see that that's an option as well. But in my case, I didn't type. I copied and pasted my prompt from ChatGPT that I did there. So as you can see there, real time, it's showing you that it's doing the thinking. It's now saying reviewing dashboard metrics, form fields, that kind of stuff. Here it was just showing you more of the prompt that I had. And I think my point there was to just explain that I didn't use a super complex or long prompt. I didn't tell it any specifics about the color scheme to use or anything like that. And you can see right here that it is indeed saying it's still working, designing Caribbean inspired stuff, drafting Caribbean style prototype layout. And it's doing all of that just based on a simple prompt that I gave it. So because it didn't specify which colors to use, we'll see which colors it chooses to use. But as I said, even if it comes up with its own color scheme, which it will, since I didn't give it colors, I can choose to change them at any point just by talking back and forth with it. And you don't, these days, you don't even have to wait until it's finished executing on the task to give it follow-up tasks. So at the bottom here, where you see Q follow-up, I could put another prompt in there and it would incorporate that as it works as well. Okay, the wind has finally stopped. So what I love about a lot of these platforms is that for a while now, they show you what they're doing as they're doing it. So all of that in total took less than 2 minutes for sure, because I remember I looked at the timestamps when it was recording. And from there, then you have a mock-up of, not a mock-up, it's actually functional, of the vibe coded app. So it's a simple admin tracker. You can see there the totals. I opted to open it in a new screen so you could see it full out, but you can toggle between tablet view and also mobile view. So imagine that all of that is possible. So back to the full website view, this is what the app looks like. And it put in dummy data, as I said, because we asked it to. And you can see here it has some invoices as well as some receipts. It tags some as paid and some as unpaid. So I went through and did some deleting and additions just so you could see how responsive it is even real time. So here we deleted that monthly retainer and you can see the totals changing at the top. This is a receipt that was deleted. Again, you see the total changing at the top. And we deleted another one. So you see the totals changing at the top. So you can also filter the categories based on like invoice, receipt. And this did all of that on its own, basically. So in my prompt, I didn't have anything about, all of this level of detail. So they're very intuitive. Nothing showed up for travel, of course, because we don't have any dummy data in there for travel receipts. So it was just showing you examples. And here shows you how you could add a new record. So I just give it a random name, website 3, and put in a certain amount, $1,000. And you can see that the calendar and all that is there for you. I don't know why I opted to put none in the notes category, but you know me. So okay, so we switch it back to all statuses and you can see live and direct, we have the $1,000 invoice unpaid right there that we just added, and it's reflected in the totals at top. Okay, and I just went back to show, oh yes, okay, so if you wanted to publish this app, you would just be in the same Lovable editor, and it has an easy option to publish. You just follow through on the prompts that it tells you, continue, where you can publish it to your own private workspace. So it doesn't have to be available to the public. I guess I can switch back screens now. So it doesn't have to be available to the public. You can keep it as an app just for you to use, or you and some friends, whoever. So you can keep the link private to you and your workspace on that platform, Lovable.dev, or you could publish it so that people in the public can use it, things like that. So there's tons of options, but if you do publish it, that's when you have to start paying. Okay. I have no clue how I'm doing on time. Okay, it's 7:20. All right. Okay, so as I said, you do have the ability to tweak the output of these vibe coded tools, platforms, apps. I could tell it make the dashboard clearer, add filters, remove filters, make a disclaimer visible or something like that. And that is where vibe coding is useful. So you can test the idea. You could show how a layout might work. So let's say you have a client and you're bidding for or sending in a proposal. or you're bidding for a small or big project. A lot of people are visual, as in a lot of people, if you tell them, oh, imagine this or imagine that, they actually can't. My father is one of them. So my mother, my brother, me, we are the ones that, yes, if we talk to one another in our natural language and go, okay, picture this or visualize that, or can you imagine this? We're like, yeah, I got it. My father is the first to say, I don't know what you mean, but when you say imagine, his imagination is dead. So by extension, he is the exact type of person, like many others. There's not even a downside really, but he is like many others who have to see something to get it. And that is where something like this could come in, because before you would have had to spend, like I said, time, energy, resources, money, sometimes tons of it, to just even see a visual representation of something that you have a concept for. And that takes, like I said, time, energy, resources, money, one way or the other. So imagine now you can go and just talk to one of these vibe coding apps, and within minutes, even if you never spend a cent, even if you never deploy it or use it publicly or anything like that, you can show it to a potential client, customer. You can show it to somebody else, get feedback on it. And that's, again, the beauty of it. You can go further faster. And you could then understand, decide whether it's something you want to spend money on or not. You could even take it to another platform sometimes. But the prototype thing, just so we're clear, is not the same as a secure production app. So as I said, you don't want to end up on the wall of shame where you tell yourself, okay, this looks great, and it does, and it works great, and it can, but you still want to make sure, if you're going to be putting in data, especially any sensitive data, that you do have, sorry, I was still paranoid about the live being cut, that you do have the correct guardrails and security features in place on the back end for people. So in terms of guardrails, this is one of the most important parts, where here's where I need people to not just run off with the baseline message of, okay, vibe coding, let me run wild. I want you to have fun, explore, be curious, but um, avoid things like, putting workplace data into random places or tools that you do not know about. Because why I recommended even starting with something like Lovable.dev is because they're one of the reputable ones. It doesn't mean that they're even perfect, but they're reputable. I am more sure they had their earlier, where some people have realized that, hey, when I use or deploy apps on this, we're getting some backend issues or whatever, and I believe they clean things up. But you know, still do your due diligence, and don't just run off using every and anything, especially if you're going to be using more intricate setups or sensitive data. Don't enter real client data when testing. This is especially tricky for fields like the medical field and anything clinical like that, using people's personal information. I feel like I'm missing the whole Brazil game, huh? Anyway, don't collect things like passwords and payment details, invoices, customer files, medical info, as I said, or financial info casually, and just be putting it in all these things. And don't just assume a nice looking app is secure. If whether that's yours or if you're on the user end of somebody else's app, you really want to do your due diligence to make sure you know what you're using and a bit about it. More of the reputable ones will tend to have their information somewhere in their website, in an about section or in the footer or something. Meanwhile, some others that are just pretty faces are just that. You wouldn't really find much information on them, or if you try to even Google them, you can't find much information. Just understand, while access has made these things great and globally in within reach, it does have the downside of meaning, okay, anybody can literally access them and create the and deploy these apps now. And if people don't have scruples about it, or aren't using critical thinking and are just running wild without the security aspects, then you don't want to fall prey to that either on the user end. So don't confuse a prototype with a production system if you're, creating your prototypes. And remember, if it needs things like logins, customer accounts, payments, file uploads, any kind of sensitive information, get proper technical help or use a properly built platform. So remember, a pretty user interface is not the same thing as a safe and secure system. Vibe coding can help you build faster, but it does not remove your responsibility to think. I am big on critical thinking. Please don't lose it. I always say AI is just another tool, just like a car, just like a calculator, to me is just another tool, and you have to use any tool responsibly. In terms of some beginner uses, I always suggest to people you can use it for things like personal admin tools, whether that's in your career or personal life, calculators, mock-ups, like I just described, websites and that kind of stuff, landing page drafts, checklists, decision guides. You can use it for quizzes, surveys, anything like that as well. Internal trackers using dummy data, prototypes to show a developer, or page layouts that you later rebuild using a proper platform. Again, I used my websites as example. So I guess we could wrap up now. It's 7:26. The tidbit for tonight. I I never have any good ones, but I guess I'm here. Uh you know what? Somebody asked me earlier today about my natural hair. That could be the tidbit right now. My hair has been natural from, I went back natural like 2017. I just cut all my hair off. I went back natural. I used to have straightened hair. And I rarely wear my natural hair out, not because I don't love it. I absolutely love my hair. I am still struggling to find a good natural hair care person in Barbados. I have tried two that came recommended. One butchered my hair. Don't want to get negative on here. I won't call names. And the other said, "Oh wow, she really butchered your hair," and she decided, "Let me do some more." So, if I could find a good natural hair person, trust and believe, I would wear my natural hair out more. But anyway, I can't think of any more for that tidbit. So wrapping up, bringing it home, is not just about AI. Remember that. It's about building income opportunities, being able to leverage the modern tools of the modern era, and using the best tools available right now. And I hope that I have at least sparked something in you with the demo, even showing you how quick these can be done. And I think when I recorded that, the internet wasn't even great. You understand? Because these things can be done sometimes in seconds. Some of the same platforms now can create. There's Cloud Code, but that is more for, I would say, still more so for developers. So I would say you can start with something like Lovable.dev that is a good all-round option and beginner friendly, where it has big prompts for you to follow, and you can find a lot of helpful tutorials if you get stuck. So I always try to recommend tools that you can find good help and reputable um, help and resources and sources. So what else? Don't just build because the tool makes it easy, but build with problem solving in mind, whether that's for you or somebody else, a client or a friend, or somebody at the workplace maybe. And remember, as usual, you can join the Wealth Circle. That is my free community on School. And I keep saying free for now, because when I start to pack certain resources in there, I will probably have to limit the number of people, or when I start doing the lives in there, which I will at some point, because YouTube is very stifling at times where I can't speak as freely as I perhaps would want, or say some of the things I need to say that can be more sensitive and tricky, not because they're illegal or anything, but if you sneeze too hard, YouTube has a problem. So, I can't really complain because it's a free platform. Everything's a trade off. You get what you get. But at some point, I will switch to doing private lives via the Wealth Circle community and that video platform in there. So I keep encouraging people every week, join the Wealth Circle community. It's free. All now, you can access any resources I mentioned in every episode from there. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, of course, where every Wednesday I go live 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. AST. And this is week 18. And I decided today that week 20, we'll call it pause, not quits, but just take a pause and call that season 1. I have enjoyed doing these, and it really keeps me going when even one person messages during or after to say, okay, didn't know about this thing, or I learned about XYZ, because that's why I started this whole thing in the first place. I have a ton of information in here, and I was like, okay, see people in the Caribbean struggling and not knowing the options. So if you find out about even one thing, I have like mission accomplished. And you can catch the replay of the playlist. That link is also in the description below as usual. And I think that's all I have on vibe coding. I'm all talked out. It's 7:30 p.m. now. I'm gonna try to scramble and see what is left of that Brazil game. We're gonna